Or, like we say, it's the compound that your brain releases when you die. People claim that that's the way to open the gateway for you to go to the next step. And that's
God molecule, right?
God molecule. And that's
you're reading a book on that now, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
God molecule.
So why is it called that? I'm asking you because you...
Yeah, well, they haven't really got to that yet, but I mean, they call it that because like that's when you experience it. I'm trying to find a way to describe this.
Maybe virtual reality would be the closest.
Yeah. Let's just talk about like leading up to this. Like, by the way, you just got done with the most traumatic, extreme experience that you will ever have in your life. Because even if you had trauma in your life, watching a friend die in front of your eyes and everything like that, now imagine reliving it in high definition right in front of your face, and it's balling up every emotion that you had for 15 years and giving it to you at once. Yes, it's fucking awful. But now it's like, hey, you did granddad where he beat your ass. Now you're going to go to mom and you're going to experience the divine. And one thing that I thought was very odd at first was when asking all the journey guides, like, how do you explain 5-MeO? They're like, it's like knowledge. And you're like, what? I'm going to do something and I'm going to have knowledge? Like, how the fuck does that work? And then it's like, after I'm done, I'm like, oh my God, I have knowledge. I have knowledge. I have fucking knowledge. Yeah,
I get it now.
Yep, I get it. Like,
yeah. And again, you can't explain it.
No, you were there for mine.
How do you explain Nirvana, right?
You were in the room for mine.
I was.
So I have no idea what I did after I left. But leading up to it, though, and he will be on this show, we won't say his name. I go second, by the way, because with 5-MeO during this process, you go one at a time. So I'm second, but we split in two teams. So I'm second in my team. So first guy goes up. 2 minutes go by. The most blood-curdling shriek I've ever heard in my life. And it wasn't one. He downshifted and kept going for about 2 solid minutes, is screaming and banging going on in the room right above me, where they just said, hey, no, this one is very peaceful. You don't have to be scared.
I was there too for that.
I'm like, because he did front flip.
Entertaining.
He did front flip.
He did front flip.
Jesus.
Reversed front flip, like 180 front flip. It was pretty wild.
There was a lot of banging. That's all I hear.
4 feet above the covers. Right?
Then he comes downstairs smiling, but his face is wet like he's been weeping. And I'm like,
awesome.
I'm in a blanket right here. And I go, you want me to go do this after that? And he's like, what do you mean? That was amazing. And the journey guide's like, no, don't tell him.
Don't talk about it.
Like, don't tell him, because we're not allowed to talk to each other until we've all done it. And he didn't know that he screamed. Like, but that was terrifying for me downstairs. Like, after it's like, okay, you're telling us we're doing the 2 most powerful things that exist on the earth for your mind. And but this one's good. And now dude sounds like he's getting his shin sawed off by the cartel.
Yeah. It's a nice cherry on top, though. Once you break through that, right? Once you get through the terrifying part, which takes 7 seconds, 10 seconds. You go through that a little bit, though. But then you come out and you explain it, right?
I felt a little bit better. So you do the handshake. So the first thing is just you sitting up. You do a small dose to just kind of get used to the feeling. Oh man, I feel it right now. Now that I'm walking myself through it, I'm like, ooh.
So 5-MeO DMT is, I think it's close to its cousin DMT, which is in ayahuasca.
Yeah, but everything that I've read is that DMT experiences and 5-MeO experiences,
they're different.
Night and day.
No, they're totally different. One's very visual. The DMT, 5-MeO is like that's why the God molecule.
The God molecule.
People, they reach nirvana, God, get whatever you want to call it. Yeah. You go there, right?
So I came up, I took the next one, I came down, I came back up the third time, took the final. And when I went to lay back down, I fell through the mattress, through the entire earth, was picking up speed, lapped the universe.
That sounds fun.
Did a quick lap around the galaxy. But again, like, it's hard to explain because this isn't visual. but you are experiencing it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to define this. Like, and while I'm in there, I'm like, oh, this makes sense now.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's when people talk about this oneness, which, what does that mean? Like everything's connected, everything's cellular on a cellular level.
Everything kind of boom.
That's what everyone's experiencing.
If I could do a motion.
Right, you melted, right? Like you feel like you just melted away.
I kept feeling the energy come in and almost circulate. And two of my friends who were there, but you don't see them. But I knew Danny was off my left shoulder, Mike was off my right shoulder. Like it was like when I broke through, they were like, "Wait, you're here." You don't see them, but I knew right away who was right. Like I got happy. I'm like, "No shit, the fuck are you?" Like it was like whoosh. And they were like, and then you kind of settle into what it is that all of this cycle is. You see God.
Yeah. So it takes
I
all
can
the
feel
evil.
the heat. Like
The burning room.
the heat of God. The heat from the energy. Like seeing it's so I don't know how to explain it, but holy fuck.
I think you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And
then coming back up, it was like I do not remember lifting, but the second that was off and my journey guide was right there, it was like, oh my God, I'm back. How long was I away? I was so happy. Like it was like, holy shit. And then it takes you about an hour to go, what the fuck just happened?
What just happened?
What the fuck just happened?
Where'd I go?
What is this?
And again, knowledge, right?
But you have to die. You have to accept.
You have to die. Like it is an ego death again, where you go, okay, is this it?
The last thing I was hanging on to was my breathing. It was like I was still taking a breath in.
No, I remember you were like most, you were struggling to like just kind of let go and let it work. It was like balled up right here. And then once you let go, I guess that's when you said you felt like you.
And it was the breathing. I was like, okay, I don't need to breathe in. Because you have this fear in there of what if this kills me? What if I'm the one that gets killed by 5-MeO-DMT?
Right.
But that is holding on.
Yep.
And that's when it was like, I finally was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't need to breathe anymore. Whoosh! Like, and that's another thing I think that we need to talk about for anybody that thinks that this is just like getting fucked up. Like if it was just getting fucked up like marijuana, when you take a hit off a weed pen, you take a big pull, you hold it, you blow it out, you're high, you feel it.
Right.
With 5-MeO-DMT, you don't know how many times you're going to have to do it before you have accepted and go.
Yeah.
You could do it 10 times. You could do it 3. Like mine was 3.
Yep.
Other people's were 5. Like, and that's where I think the proof is. Like, hey, this is legit.
Yeah.
Because you have to let it. You have to allow it. You have to accept it. And then it decides when you're ready and goes, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And then again, too, no matter how many times you rail on it again, it will not let you bust out once you broke.
And it's got just amazing anti-inflammatory properties. And that's why also, again, guys come out of these experiences just clear. Brain fog is gone. Maybe any swelling they've had may have been reduced. So it's just, it's hard to talk about what these are actually doing or what you're experiencing and why you're getting so educated when you leave. And I think that's the part we have trouble explaining, or the trouble of science explaining it. But we are researching it.
That's a very frustrating part, though, for me, was leaving you guys, and then nobody that I could talk to that gets it.
Yep.
And that was like, and even walking around other people, you're like, oh my God, you don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. Like, look, I'm the only one here. Like, and I have an inherent need to talk to anybody that's been through this, because it's like, man, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, and then coming out of there, I can't explain it. Like,
and that's okay though, right? I think that's what the coaches do a good job of saying, at least mine does still. Don't put so much pressure on trying to understand every little thing. Like it'll naturally, like everything else, it'll naturally just come out, right? Instead of you just going, I had a friend who was treated a year or 2 ago, and he tried to really analyze what happened, and it took him 30 days to pop out of it. And at the 30-day mark, he went, oh, like I was thinking too hard. Like I should have just like went on and it just happened. And he was good. You know, he was empathetic. He was full of love. He had a better relationship with his wife, better relationship with his kids. But it took him 30 days after the treatment.
I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I think I'm still dwelling on it a little too much.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, that's why I call this a privilege. I really do think it is. I don't think this is something that should just be, you know, everybody should be able to jump in and do it. I mean, this is
you have to respect
really hard
number
work
one.
and really powerful shit.
And you gotta respect it. You gotta respect the process. You have to be willing to do the process. So you cannot go in going, oh, I'm going to skip my interviews. I'm going to skip my journey guides. I'm going to skip my
bad move.
Yeah, no, 100%. You have to respect the process. You have to do it to the fullest, and you have to open your mind up to it as well. Like you can and you can't, but you'll be shown. I mean, I went in there with hard convictions, and now those are gone. So
change for life, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Change for life. You know, when I went to become an instructor, latter part of my career, one of the guys who'd been around for 30 years, he said something that was really powerful. He said, you know, all these guys, they think, you know, going to war now is just SOP, right? Because it's, you know, there's a war. There's been war going on since 9/11. He's like, that's a real privilege though. Like, you know, I look at it as, man, it was a real privilege to go to war because like you train and train and train. You
Sometimes
get the
you can
opportunity.
never get to do the
You
job.
never get to do that, right? I kind of feel it's the same way with this medicine is that war changes you for life. This changes you for life too. And really, you got to be prepared. You got to respect it. You can't take it. You can't be entitled just to say, oh, you know, I'm entitled to do this medicine. Like, no, man, you need to put in the work. You need to respect it. It's going to change your life. And you need to, you need to approach it that way.
I mean, even just looking at that photo of the five of us, it was like, yes, one of those people there I've known for a long time, but the other guys I didn't. There's no one else I'll ever be closer to than those four individuals. Like, because that weekend, we just did
some shit.
The impossible. Like, and then, yes, coming back and doing my research, seeing that there are some people that it takes them years to prepare themselves to get the courage to go do one of these.
Right.
We did both in a weekend.
Yeah. Didn't really think too much about it, did you?
No.
I had a whole year to think about it.
Until now. Like, and then now I'm reading these accounts and these testimonials, and they're like, yeah, I chickened out 7 times. Like, oh.
And we have that. Guys, you know, guys and girls that put in applications. We get them set, you know, for a weekend, and they back out. But I get it.
Yeah.
They're not ready. You know, you got to be ready.
And you got to go all in.
Got to go all in.
But fuck, if you do, you come out the back end. Like, I think this has the power to really bring some of our close friends back that we've watched deteriorate, that we watch just let the illnesses eat them up.
Yeah.
And go down bad practice. I mean, inherently, I think veterans as a whole are just, we get accustomed to bad practices and just bad drinking. So bad for you.
Yeah. Drinking Ambien, Adderall.
Yeah, drinking
all the
Ambien,
stuff you used on deployment over and over again, right?
All this stuff. It's like,
and then you carry that over into the private sector, which doesn't really work.
And you're just further impairing your brain. Yeah. Like, and it's just keeping those wounds open. So it's
JT, I think that's what we have to educate, is that the alcohol and all these other things are actually what you told me outside. Like, you're killing yourself, right? You're killing your liver, you're killing your brain. These medicines are healing your brain. Yeah. It's still people who don't understand, I think, have some, you know, recollection or lived through the 60s and 70s kind of counterculture, think these things fry your brain. They actually build your brain. No,
that was something that sitting down with the doctors.
And that's a shocker for people listening right now who probably think I'm crazy, but these medicines are actually good for your brain.
100%. And that we're hearing that from the scientists and the doctors.
Yeah, I'm not making that up. This is coming from research.
I started asking all the questions I had that I was raised to believe. Like, number one, I was told that LSD acid eats your brainstem. Doctors were like, absolutely not.
Diet Coke does.
LSD actually essentially lightens up it's like pumping adrenaline into your neurotransmitters, and it opens them up. LSD doesn't necessarily heal, but it overcharges them to foster healing on its own if you continue a certain dose at a certain regime or anything like that. They said the same thing about psilocybin, is it doesn't necessarily go in and repair, but it heightens them up and it brings them up to where the healing starts to happen on its own.
Well, we're hoping, with a few studies that are happening now at Boga or Ibogaine, there's research that we're about to start to see if the medicine actually does repair the brain,
really?
Like physically repair the brain. And so I think it's pretty exciting. We're going to start this study in the next 2 months. Be 30 individuals. They'll get brain scans. They'll do a bunch of tests. They'll go do.
Can I be tested?
You absolutely can.
I'm down.
You're already healed.
I'm ready.
You can't go back.
Yeah, but I want to see how healed I can get.
But I think it's super exciting because, like you said, wow, if at least the preliminary research has shown that that's what it does, but now they have to do a full-on clinical trial. So
I mean, I feel better. I think better. I process better. Like 2 days ago, I was like on a roll. Like the fact that I could pull things out of my memory I didn't think I had. It was just like, oh my God, like this is hard. This is charging now. Like we're on turbo.
It's exciting, right? Because think about some of your buddies that what they're experiencing right now. Yeah. And then they can get to the point where you're at.
I want to see them back.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited.
I do too.
I'm donating to you guys today.
Are you really?
Of course.
That's news. But we always need donations.
I charge everybody else, anybody out there, like your donations are going directly to a veteran going down and getting somebody that needs this going down and getting treatment. And
100%.
Essentially every $3,500 we can treat another person. So that is a direct reflection of you will know exactly how much you're doing when rolling in with you guys. So I've got some specific people that I really want to help and see and hear their testimonials as they come back because they're leaders in coming from my career field. So I'm very excited for that.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for more healing. Stuff is great. Every time, Amber and I we get frustrated. We deal with a lot of crap like everybody does with starting a business or a charity. But every time I read a testimonial, it's so uplifting.
There's just no way to describe this.
Yeah.
Like it's so.
You just got to experience it.
Yeah.
You
got to do it. And hopefully we see it open up, become more and more common as we continue the research and the studies, as long as, you guys leading the charge and making sure all the checks and balances, all the legalities, everything is done correctly is what is going to get this stuff eventually recognized and available on a wider scale.
Yeah, that's what we're doing is, we're not doctors. Like I said, we have, all the treatment teams that you're talking about are just phenomenal and they know the medicine and work with the medicine, but we're just the voice, right? We're a fundraising arm, we're an education arm, research, advocacy, we're changing laws. I mean, right now it's insane what's going on. So we'll just keep going.
You guys are a blessing to the veteran community. And I would tell anybody to look into Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions. Marcus Capone.
Thanks, brother.
Go read their Time magazine article about him and Amber. It really explains your journey, which we'll have you back to tell us your whole history.
Whenever. That was a scary article when it came out.
Because you don't know which direction.
It's kind of the first time we spoke out about this because this is not fun. Mm-hmm. So my first reaction was, oh, fuck, but then every time I read the article, I said, actually, this is actually a pretty good article and it tells the story. It embellishes a little bit like media does, but it's all right.
Awesome.
It's all good, man.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks for being a fan, JT. Yeah, thanks for being a fan.